Welcome to your May edition of Burg Comics Picks, Passes, and Pauses. These are books that are generally going to be shipping in July of 2026. So I'll let you know which ones I think are worth your time to pick up and what you should be thinking about as far as, new and potentially collectible series go. First up from Ablaze, we have Valhallaw, issue number 1, new series, written by Ben Fisher, art by Pedro R.M. Andreo. Basic premise of this story is that you have the Norse gods. What if they needed attorneys? So you have one Norse god who is able, their gift is to make unbreakable contracts. So it's supposed to mix dark humor and high concept action, particularly in the courtroom. So you have this sort of legal drama unfolding. I think I'm going to call this one a pick. I am concerned because it does say that it was previously offered through other distributors. I guess that means Diamond, but I don't know that Diamond's been shipping anything. And I checked on eBay before I started recording this, and I wasn't able to purchase this book now other than in pre-sale. Next up, we have from Bad Idea, and they are really putting the bad idea into the name, Banana Number 1. No, I did not stutter. This title of this book is actually Banana Number 1, and this is the first issue. They are marketing this as the most outrageous comic of the year. Now, the one thing that gives me pause on this book that is written by Joshua Dysart is the fact that it is drawn by Kevin McGuire. Love Kevin McGuire's artwork. They are describing this as a mysterious 7 foot tall sentient banana raised in secret, turned race car driver, turned sex signal, turned global celebrity, and ultimately turned revolutionary icon. Even with the Kevin McGuire artwork, this is still going to be a pass for me. Also from Bad Idea, we have Dingoliath. This is the first issue in what Bad Idea is describing as their own monster verse. Now, this is written by Robert Venditti and Brockton McKinney, art by Menix Abrera. General premise, at least from the art pages, is that you have a dingo slash dog like creature that is giant size that is made out of garbage. Robert Venditti, again, gives me pause on this book, but I think for me, this is also going to be a pass. From Image Comics, you have Terminal Number 1, story by Robert Kirkman and Joe Casey, art by Andy Kubert and Dave McCaig. Now, anytime that Robert Kirkman is involved in a title, you have to seriously consider its long-term investment value. He obviously has multiple hits between Walking Dead and Invincible, so it's probably worth it just to pick this up just in case he is able with his marketing and hype machine to bring something fruition. Now, my big concern with this title, though, looking at the cover, is it almost looks like it's bringing in Valiant characters. I swear this is Bloodshot on the cover. Though it doesn't say anything about Valiant or any other universe, it could just be a coincidence that the characters have a very similar appearance. But I'm kind of thinking, is this a Void Rivals surprise like we got with the Hasbro universe back? So I think you got to pick it just because it's Kirkman. I have my serious doubts about this book, but I don't want to steer you wrong on that. From Mad Cave, we have Cloven Number 1. This is written by Dan Panosian, art by David Faraci. General premise is you've got the American frontier and you have a supernatural Western. We have some type of demonic creature that is from the main character's father's past, that has something evil and wicked. So I've been on a kick for some Western books, so this is just kind of striking me in the right place. So I think this one is a definite pick. From Cambrian Comics, you have Kaijus and Cowboys. This is written by Matthew Blair, art by Frankie B. Washington. Now, typically, when I'm selling comics at a comic show, it's very rare for me to not have somebody ask about Godzilla or some of the other 80s toy lines as far as Shogun Warriors or Voltron. So the idea of the kaijus fighting the cowboys, and in this case, the cowboys are giant mech robot cowboys. I think there could be some interest in this title. I feel like they're missing an opportunity by not making this one all ages book. It is rated T for teen, but I don't think that will turn away too many potential readers. So I'm just going to say pick, just because of the fact that it's going to strike a chord with a lot of readers because of the kaijus and the giant robots fighting the kaijus. From Midnight Factory, we have Prophets of Doom. This is the first issue in what I'm assuming is an ongoing until it is not. General premise is that you have some evangelical preachers who are trying to trigger an apocalypse because their church attendance has declined so much. So they basically are summoning demons. Unfortunately, or well, maybe not unfortunately, but I guess it is unfortunate if you're, summoning demons, but they're trying to trigger this mini apocalypse to basically put people back in the pews of their churches. Ultimately, though, to line their pockets with money. So definitely not a altruistic reason for doing this. I would say this is probably a pass, even though I do plan to pick up the first issue myself. I'll probably limit it to one just to kind of see where they go with this story. From Red 5 Comics, you have August Purgatory Underground. This is written by Benjamin Morse, who also does the artwork on the story. This is billing itself as a retro sci-fi adventure featuring the heroism of 80s classic franchises like Star Wars and He-Man. And if you look at the preview art pages, it definitely has that style of an 80s Saturday morning cartoon. So if you're missing that nostalgia for the 80s and Saturday morning, when you can only see cartoons on Saturday morning, then you might want to pick this up. But for me, I'm going to call this book a pass. From Oni Press, you have Faceless and the Family, Maze of the Mechanical Aliens. This is written and drawn by Matt Lesniewski. He's an Eisner Award-winning cartoonist and visionary storyteller. So this is about a spacefaring rogue known as Faceless, and his found family of adventurers are about to encounter a new challenge, a stronger stranger, and more perplexing than any they've faced before, in an artistically ambitious and visually spectacular odyssey unlike anything in this universe or the next. So what happens is you have this extraterrestrial suit of armor that binds itself to apparently Faceless. Now, I am going to mention that this story is in black and white, so if black and white art is something that you don't want to see, then you're definitely going to want to pass on this. I'm probably also calling this book a pass as well. From Titan Comics, you have Black Star #1. This is a 5-issue series that is written by Kristen Crook, Peter Mooney, and Eric Putzer, with art by Joe Picardo. General premise is that you have these warring factions in the 19th century fur trade when the protagonist among them discovers that he has magical abilities. Now, they're spending a lot of time promoting the fact that Kristen Crook has just under 1 million followers on her Instagram account, as if that is going to be a big driving factor for sales of this comic. But I am just not so sure. Most of the time when you have the celebrity that's doing the quote-unquote writing, it's somebody else doing the heavy lifting for them. I'm going to suggest that that is probably the case, but I could be completely wrong. But if you like a kind of a frontier type story that apparently has a little magical twist to it, then you might want to consider Black Star, but I'm going to call this book a pass. From Ignition Press, you have Minotaur #1. This was written by Cy Spurrier, illustrated by Michael Dowling. 5 years ago, a government supercomputer triggered the singularity, an explosion of technology and superintelligence heralding an unimaginable tomorrow. So this has got a couple of the elements that I like in stories. You've got the science fiction, kind of ties into what's going on now with artificial intelligence, and I would have called this a pick. However, this particular series was first seen on Comics Giveaway Day, which some of us would call Free Comic Book Day, back in the Diamond days. So unfortunately, this is not going to be the first story here in this particular universe. So if this is something that appeals to you, you're probably going to want to try to check with your local comic shop, see if they have any copies of the free slash giveaway day version of this story. If you're looking for an interesting sci-fi story, then you might want to pick this up. But from the collectability standpoint, I'm going to call this one a pass. From Boom Studios, you have Vampyrates. This is written by Fred Van Lente, who I'm really enjoying his work right now with Recca Comics on The Future Is, illustrated by Luca Pizzari. As the name suggests, this is basically a melding of the sword and sorcery and carousing of pirates along with vampires. So you have this vampire pirate ship. If those peanut butter and chocolate sound good to you mixed together, then you absolutely should check this out. I'm going to call this one a pass, though. From Dark Horse Comics, you have The Smart Division. This is a 5-issue series written by Zach Kaplan, illustrated by John J. Pearson. So anything that describes itself as a dark and modern sci-fi detective series set 5 minutes in the future is definitely going to get my attention. So I will be picking this one up, and I'm going to go ahead and call this one a pick. And then finally, also from Ignition Press, you have Sicko #1, written by Tenny Howard, illustrated by Amilcar Pina. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So you have the main character, Valentine Virago, has an autoimmune disorder that defies classification, and she has the ability to weaponize her diseases. So yes, she can produce literal snot rockets. Sounds a little too gross for me, but if you're into gross, you might want to pick this up. But for that reason, I am going to call this a pass. So there you have my pass picks and pauses for May of 2026. I would appreciate knowing anything that you feel like I missed that I should definitely be picking up from this month's pre-orders catalog. And of course, if you think I'm wrong about one of these books, leave me a comment in the comments below, and I will definitely reconsider my opinion. If you want to hear me talk in more detail about the books in this month's pre-order catalogs, be sure and check out my podcast, Campus Comics Cast, with Mike Atchison of Mike's Comic Shop Roadshow. You can find it here in the Burg Comics YouTube feed, or you can find it wherever you get your podcasts. As always, like and subscribe, and thank you for listening.